When I say 6 months, like people are shocked that I say I got back to sports in 6 months because it's actually an 8 to 9 month, like sometimes a year recovery process for some people. To be able to share that and show that I not only got back to my sports, but I beat the timeline almost.
Hello and welcome back to Rinkside Rundown, the podcast that brings you inside the world of women's hockey, one story at a time. I'm your host, Chris Sinclair, and today on the show, I'm joined by Peyton Tully, a Toledo, Ohio native who is in her first year with Post University. Peyton arrives in the NCAA after making her mark with a standout high school career full of multiple school records, both on the ice and on the lacrosse field. Peyton, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
I am doing well, and I am absolutely thrilled to have you. So thank you so much for carving some time out to join the show. As this is your first time on the show, we have one of two traditions, and we're going to get to the first one right away. We need to learn how it all started for you, where it all started. And so let's start off with what first drew you to the game of hockey and made you fall in love with the sport.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm from Toledo, Ohio. It's not the biggest hockey hub. We have obviously boys high school hockey and a few like AA and AAA teams around here. Um, but I grew up kind of in a hockey family in the sense that my dad played juniors growing up. My mom was a figure skater growing up. Her brother, my uncle, was actually a professional hockey player. He played in Toledo actually for the Toledo Storm at the time, is now the ECHL team Toledo Walleye. Um, so yeah, I learned, I grew up in the rinks watching his kids play and all that stuff. And then I was about 9 when I asked my dad if I could play hockey. He was like, "You want to play hockey? Like, are you sure?" Like, because I played every sport in the book. I grew up playing soccer, basketball, gymnastics, dance, like all of that. And I've always been skating. So there's pictures of my dad and I like skating around an open skate when I was like 2. Like I've always had skates on, but I've never played hockey. So, yeah, I got equipment when I was 9, did learn to play, was terrible at it. I was one of the bigger ones out there because I was like old. I feel like everyone starts hockey at like 3 or 4 or something. And yeah, I got off the ice and my dad was like, "Okay, how'd you like it?" I'm like, "I loved it. Like, when can I go again?" So yeah, I did like one session of like, or one like thing of learn to play hockey here in Toledo. And then I joined a 10U girls team. I've never played boys hockey. I've only played girls hockey. I joined a 10U uh tier 3 girls team and then did that for a year and then took my dad took me up to Michigan to play for Little Caesars at the time. So I played 10U and 12U AA Little Caesars and just kind of took off from there, traveling up to Michigan and playing for all those teams and stuff. So yeah.
My goodness. And it's interesting as well because like you said, you started late. You know, most
Yeah.
most kids are like it's like 2 or 3. It's like basically you can walk even just a little bit, those skates are on and you're on the ice. So you started a little bit obviously a little bit later. Do you find that maybe somehow in a crazy world kind of worked in your favor somehow because it seems to have worked out really well for you. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, the only thing that I can think of is the fact that I started skating on figure skates first, which actually like is kind of better for your skating like stature anyway, and like just your posture on the ice was like engraved in me at such a young age. So I mean it took a little bit to learn how to skate on hockey skates, but I'd always been a pretty like strong skater in that sense, which I feel like when you get older that can kind of differentiate between the girls who make it to the college level and the ones who don't, because those are type of habits that you need to start when you're young. So
Yeah, especially edge work and stuff like that. It really that
yeah.
helps absolutely to separate yourself. Well, you had mentioned it there, and I want to talk about it a little bit. You're a multi-sport athlete, and I always find that fascinating somehow that you're able to balance and in your case especially, you were incredibly good. I'm highlighting in this case hockey and lacrosse, but you're incredibly good at a lot of different sports. How did you balance it, and how do you find or how did you feel you were able to be so successful at so many different sports?
Yeah, so A lot of it comes with genetics. My family just grew up very active. Both my parents grew up playing multiple sports in their high school days and stuff like that. Uh, for me, I picked up lacrosse kind of later too. I picked up lacrosse in about fifth or sixth grade, like middle school. Because again, it's not a very big sport around here at all. But my cousins live out east, the East Coast, and they play lacrosse like all the time. So I was just kind of like, oh, that's another sport. Like I could start playing, whatever. So there was a time I was playing probably like like five sports at a time. But like in middle school, you're able to do that because they're all in different seasons. But then I started narrowing it down in when I got to about high school because I knew I wanted to play high school lacrosse. Um, and I don't know. I definitely hockey and lacrosse were two that correlate together really well. Just with the stick skills and the hand movement and hand-eye coordination, all that stuff. Like basically you take a hockey stick and you put it up in the air and it's lacrosse. That's how I think of it. So lacrosse came pretty naturally to me in that sense. And it's a good break from hockey, in my opinion. I think playing two sports is very beneficial for people. I think a lot of kids growing up focus on one sport at a time, and perfect that, and they don't build their all-around athleticism, which can go a longer way than just skills in their designated sport. So I think that I've found success in both because I've taken the time to take breaks and come back um, better each time.
Well, and I love that your story. There's certainly success is certainly a through line throughout your athletic career, but also the fact that you seem to just start every sport super late, and somehow that still translates to a lot of success. So somehow you found a way, you found a winning formula, and so just don't change a thing because it's really worked out well for you so far.
Yeah.
Um, so, I also want to know as well, speaking of being a multi-sport athlete, winning the Northern Lakes League Player of the Year, how did that season, winning the Player of the Year award and a championship, how did that season change how you saw yourself as an athlete? Did winning and at that level and winning championships and individual awards change your mindset as an athlete?
It definitely did on the lacrosse side of things. All those accolades, are from me playing lacrosse. I only played travel hockey. I didn't play like high school hockey or anything. So the only place I could play lacrosse was for my high school, which was really cool to just even be representing my high school because we have a hockey team, but it's boys, and it wasn't something that I knew I could play for if I wanted to play at the next level. Um, so being able to represent my school in such a positive way was super awesome for me. My freshman year, I was out the entire season from an ACL injury. So I knew coming back in my sophomore year that I wanted to be a part of something great. And we went from an 0-16 record my freshman year to being undefeated and winning the entire league my senior year, with actually my mom and my dad as the coach and my sister as one of my teammates. So it was actually a full family affair, which was super cool. And it was just a goal that my mom and I specifically had together because she's been coaching with me. My freshman year was the start of her coaching, and she ended up turning the whole program around at my high school, and we were NLL champs. So yeah, and the accolade of just myself being a player of the year, that's something that I obviously looked forward to from my freshman year when I couldn't play, and I like knew I had the ability to do it, because lacrosse is not super popular in this area. But I could not have done it without, a whole team behind me, obviously. So, the fact that my mom as the coach was able to build the whole program from bottom to the top, and I was a part of it is super like, I'm super grateful to be able to say that. So, yeah, it kind of gave me a different to go back to the question, I guess, it kinda gave me a different outlook on my abilities to play lacrosse. After my injury, I kinda didn't look at it to play at the next level at all, and, I it's a sport that it's so easy to practice at home. Like, it obviously it came naturally to me because of hockey, but it's just one of those that I was always outside practicing lacrosse, just not even moving, just wall ball, like practicing my stick skills, like all that stuff. So it was kind of eye-opening my senior year of like, oh man, maybe I could have like pursue this in college, not knowing what I know now that I would be able to. So yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah, and I want to talk obviously about I mentioned off the top the success that you had in your, the accolades you received in within your high school career. Now, I know I'm going to put the caveat here, of course, that as you mentioned, these are all in team sports, so you can only be as successful as the players around you. But there is also an element of athleticism and skill that you individually have. Of course, you are a part of that. So I do want to put the caveat on. I do know that winning individual awards, of course, is nice, but it's the team awards that really feel a lot more special, and especially in your case when you have such family ties to the winning this and success that you saw. Um, but during your time in high school, I was looking at the awards that you won, and I feel like it might be easier to look at the awards you didn't win, because that seems like it would be or records rather, that it would be a much smaller list to look at the records that you don't hold as opposed to the records you do, because it is a very, very long list. Um, is there I know that it might be difficult to narrow down to just one game or one moment throughout your high school career, but were there some moments for you throughout your career? And this can, obviously this is specific to hockey, but it can be wherever because it's all a part of your story. Um, is there a particular game or a particular moment or a particular maybe championship run that you had, or a record that you hold that really still resonates for you, and you kind of maybe in those moments that we'll explore in a little bit, when you're having those downs, that you draw upon to remind yourself of the incredible athlete that you are?
Yeah, so all those records that you're talking about are state and school records from lacrosse. So obviously a game that I remember in from my lacrosse days was winning the league title my senior year. That was super important for our school, for our program, for my family specifically. And it was just kind of a super like full circle moment for all of us and the hard work that we put into it. But from on the hockey side of things, I mostly grew up playing for the Detroit market and AAA teams up there. So every year we would compete for the state championship. I won one state championship um, when I was on my Wellview, Little Caesars team, and that was at the double A level. So I remember that game pretty vividly. That was pretty cool. But I wish I took it a little bit better when I got the award or when our team won, because I just didn't really know how important winning a state championship really is, or how cool it actually was. I was just kind of like, oh, cool, like a medal,
Well,
like
especially at
whatever.
that age too, right? So that's probably a big part
Yeah,
of it.
and it was
Yeah.
just like I was just like, "Okay, like, why is everyone, like, so, like, excited and emotional?" I don't know. I was a pretty
Yeah.
unemotional kid, so I was
Yeah.
probably not the most fun to be around, but,
Yeah.
no, but then continuing to grow, as a player, making AAA teams, like, all this stuff, that's all you think about is winning the state championship. So my final year in Detroit was with Bell Tire 19U. Um, and we were up against Little Caesars, and I remember that game pretty vividly because it was a lot of girls' last youth game, and it's a big deal. Everyone wants to win to go to nationals and all that stuff, and we ended up losing, but it was just a pretty like emotional day because I had been playing again with some of my best friends that I've known since I was 10. So I just think all that is super cool to be a part of, and the girls I've met along the way, and all the little camps I do in the summer and the recruiting tournaments and all this stuff. You meet so many people, and I just enjoy how tight knit the hockey community is. And I could go play for another team across the country and come back to my hometown and play and still see some of the closest friends that I've met. And then watch them play in the NCAA as well is super fun and rewarding. So yeah, definitely my last states game for 19U.
Yeah,
I
that's
remember
fair.
the most.
Um, Speaking of your junior career, before we move on to some cases of overcoming adversity that you've displayed on multiple occasions throughout your career, um, Could you talk about those junior programs that you were a part of? And, they all have with them or carry with them a lot of prestige and success and development. Maybe just talk about those programs and what they meant for you and maybe how they've prepared you to make that jump from junior now to collegiate.
Yeah, so I played for a lot of teams growing up. I played for Honey Baked Detroit for the longest. I played there for about 5 years, probably from 12U up until my first year 16U. And then I took a break from Detroit kind of because I mean it is a tight knit community, so we all kind of know each other. And I'm one that I like different things, and I wanted to um, go see what else um, teams had to offer. So I actually ended up playing at Gilmore Academy for a year in Cleveland, Ohio, and that was the first time really I played for a team in my home state. So that was kind of cool. But they're a prep school, and I did not go to prep school there. I commuted, and only played for the hockey team. So that's about a 2-hour drive for me. So I would drive 2 hours to practice, couple days a week, and then wherever for tournaments and games, and I'd go travel on the bus with them, which I thought was the coolest experience ever. So that was kind of a realization that I had of like, oh, like this is what college is gonna be like. I really want to play college hockey. And that was a goal that I had when I was 10 was to play college hockey. But yeah, to finally put the pieces together to like determine that was fun growing up. And then I played there for a year, went back to Detroit, played for Bell Tire my senior year, and then I needed to take a post grad year. So I took my post grad year in Pittsburgh, which was an amazing experience. I'm so happy I ended up there. Like I would never change that experience for anything.
Love that. Yes. And I mean, obviously, once again, those steps in your development absolutely have proven to be important and translated to a lot of success on the ice. So, yeah, absolutely. I want to now talk about overcoming adversity. So, you have an interesting story when it comes to that. You've experienced multiple knee injuries. A couple of times have required surgery on both knees. I think it was your right knee was surgery first, then your left knee was most recent, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's
Um,
correct.
Thinking back to that first injury, what did you learn about yourself throughout that process? When, you're an athlete, you just wanna be on the ice, but you can't be on the ice. What was that like for you, and what did it teach you?
Yeah, so I think that's a huge thing that like athletes don't know about themselves is who they are off the ice. And of course, like nobody wants to go through an injury. It sucks, but I'm actually very grateful for the things that have come from it. And I don't know if that's just me personally of how I stayed positive through it or how I took it into a positive way. But I tore my ACL first on my 15th birthday playing lacrosse.
Happy birthday.
And
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. um and the whole surgery thing out for 6 months, like blah, blah, blah. I did PT every day. And I did it in January. So I missed my entire freshman lacrosse season. Um, my parents or my mom, who was the coach at the time, was like, hey, like, obviously you need to still like, should be involved somehow. Like, do you think you could help us with our social media? Because, new program, we're trying to grow it, blah, blah, blah. And so I started taking to, game day graphics, and I did like a little media day photo shoot, like literally just on my iPhone. So I actually built a whole business from being injured. So now I have this photography, graphic design, and videography business that I never thought I would, have or even come across if I didn't get injured because I would just keep playing my sports. So I think it's really important to not just dwell on like, oh, woe is me, I'm injured, like blah blah blah. Like actually find something to do because there's a whole life out there besides sports. Like I hate to say it, everyone loves sports, but there's so many different like intricate ways to be involved in sports. So I think that was really important for me to find and to stay involved. So yeah, I'm super grateful for that.
You also documented a lot of your journey, the rehab journey as well, and I just wanted to know from you What did doing those things like, how did it help you to cope? And then maybe also how it helped that whole recovery process, how it helped to shape your relationship with hockey, but also with your teammates, because it's now you're not on the ice with them. You can't be on the ice with them. So how did that shape your relationship with them as well?
Um, yeah, I think that taking to like social media with my stuff was just also I'm not trying to do it for like attention or anything. It's literally like I try to be educational of like you can get through this. So anyone watching it, like it, it's there's never an ending to it. The ACL used to be a career-ending injury, and now, doctors and athletes are working together to try to make it even probably a lesser of a recovery time than it is now. Like when I say 6 months, like people are shocked that I say I got back to sports in 6 months because it's actually an 8 to 9 month, like sometimes a year recovery process for some people. So to be able to share that and show that I not only got back to my sports, but I beat the timeline almost. Um, I hope is inspirational to people, and I just want to motivate people who are doing or are going through what I'm going through. And then I've actually had a lot of, teammates relate to me in different ways that they didn't know they could relate to me, whether they've been through an injury or not. Um, I think it's been super cool to share like what I've gone through to get to this point and to share that, um, don't take anything for granted. Don't take being on the ice or on the field for granted because you never know when it's going to get taken from you. So, yeah, I've enjoyed sharing that. Um, and hearing what people have to say for it, and I don't do it for for the like I said, I don't do it for the attention. It's just to motivate individuals who are going through what I'm going through.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things, and I appreciate you pausing to mention that, because I think it is important, right? I watched those videos, and it was one of those things where it's like, especially as a fan, but of course I'm sure as a teammate, you just kind of get into this athletic mindset, right? Like it's always move forward, move forward, move forward. Don't slow down. Don't reflect. Don't think about where you are right now. It's always about where you have to be next. And as fans, we only see the goals, the saves, the assists, these big moments on the ice. We don't necessarily see the person. So by you doing that, you really brought fans along with you on that journey, and it sucks. There's no way around it. It sucks, but to get that perspective was really refreshing. How do you feel like it you kind of touched on it a little bit, but how do you find that it connected you with maybe your teammates at the time, but also of course your teammates along the way, the new teammates that you've had? Have you found that you're connecting with them maybe differently because you have this, I don't want to say injury history because it makes it sound a lot worse than it is, but you've had some surgeries along your career?
Yeah, for sure. So like I said, like the hockey community is a very tight knit community, but the ACL community is also a very tight knit community. So the fact that I'm sharing, my story on my ACL injuries, I've actually met many people in the hockey world that have torn their ACL as well. So to connect with those people, and I got to school, and I had a teammate who was out from an ACL injury, and so now that's all we talk about. Like I didn't even know that like she had done that or was going through that. And I had another teammate who had already done that about the same year that I did my first one, and we hadn't known each other yet. So just connecting on, similar injuries has been a huge thing. Um, and I've gone through a lot to get to where I am today, and so have other people, whether their background whatever their background is, honestly, like, it doesn't even have to be from an injury, like, everyone faces adversity. I hope that people are comfortable coming up to me and sharing their story, because I just hope that they know that, I'm accepting of everything that people have gone through. Yeah, I've had a couple, connections of people just willing to share what they've gone through as well, whether that's an injury or not.
Okay, so I want to now, of course, speak about this season because as I mentioned off the top, it's your first with post university, and I just wanted to, before we get to a couple of highlights from this year, I want to understand what made post feel like the right step for you, that right place for you to embark on your collegiate career.
Yeah, so I took a visit around the same time last season, and I love the people there. I love the environment. It's a very small school, so everyone there's an athlete, so we all kind of know each other. It's been super fun so far. We do have a rink off campus that we have to go to, but I just think that that says a lot about our love for the game, and we're there for the grind, and it is truly Division 1, and I wish more people knew about it because it's a place that you wanna be if you wanna play Division 1 hockey, and, we're a part of the NUHA, which is the New England Women's Hockey Alliance, so it's schools like Sacred Heart, LIU, Stonehill, St. Michael's, Assumption, St. Anselm, Franklin Pierce. We are a smaller, newer conference, but we are on the rise. We're in a spot to compete for out of conference like games and all that stuff. So it's been super fun to be a part of and to see where it's been and to see where it is now. And I'm excited to see where it's going to be. Being a part of that, I feel like says a lot.
Yeah, and you and I have spoken prior to today about the importance of highlighting the incredible skill level that's outside of the typical, Wisconsin's, Ohio States, like the big programs that everyone is really familiar with. There are a lot of
Mhm.
really great programs out there that more people need to know about that maybe don't get the spotlight, don't get the stage that they deserve. So it's great to see that's one of your goals, is to make sure that you're a part of a program that is on the rise, and that you are a part of that journey, as you've been in. You did this exact same thing in high school, right? You went from the bottom and you got to the top, so it's just a matter of time. Why not do that in college, right?
Yeah, exactly, and that's where I really related to it the most, and being able to play lacrosse at post as well is just, another super cool opportunity that I wouldn't be able to do at other schools, and I wasn't able to finish out my senior year of lacrosse, um, and I went out on, another ACL injury. It wasn't my time, it wasn't on my terms, so I knew in my head, I was like, "Oh, I'm not done with lacrosse, I need to keep going." So yeah, to be able to play at post again is, I haven't played yet because it's a spring sport, but I'm really looking forward to it and helping build that program as well. And because I, now have a business in graphic design and photography, I'm able to, help my social media or my team on social media as well, which I feel like helps me feel like I'm, in a bigger role, especially as a freshman. So that's been super, super rewarding. And to watch it sounds so silly, but to watch the followers grow and, more girls following the account, I just think it's super awesome to see. And to be able to say that a player runs, an NCAA team social media, like, I think that's pretty cool. And it's very personable. I'm able to know, post videos about, girls I feel like a regular social media manager wouldn't be able to post because he doesn't know them, he or she doesn't know them. So, um, yeah, it's been super fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it gives a little bit more of a personal touch when it's a fellow athlete or someone that a younger player who maybe is looking at their college options, finds out that it's a player running this social media account. Like it changes the dynamic, and it isn't silly for you to be so proud of seeing those followers grow. I know what that feels like, so it's not silly at all. Absolutely. Um, Before we wrap up today, before we get to the final segment of the show, I do have a couple more questions for you, because you actually scored your first career goal this season. It was a nice little wrister out front. I saw the highlights of the goal. It was a nice little goal. Walk us through that. How does it feel to have scored your first collegiate goal, and what were the takeaways from that? Talk to me.
Yeah, so I'm sure you noticed in the clip, I actually didn't realize I scored at first.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was off a couple rebounds, and I just kept pounding the goalie, and, my teammate had to come up to me and goes, "Peyton, it went in, it went in," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, no way." So yeah, it was good, like, back and forth play. I got a couple of my own rebounds. My line had, had a good game, prior to that, and that was actually the first goal of the game, so it was able to set the tone, so that was super cool. My dad was actually in the stands to see it, not knowing that I would score, and then come to find out, it was really full circle when, I realized that the same weekend, a year before, I had torn my ACL for the 3rd time, so a full year later I score my first collegiate goal. So yeah, it was super awesome, and all my teammates were really supportive. And we had a great game and won by a large margin and just set the tone for the weekend. So it was awesome.
Oh, a good full circle moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Um, Last question before the final segment. You are currently studying sports management and marketing studies. I always want to know, and I know that we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but now it's the collegiate level, so I feel like it's a whole other ballgame. Um, how in the world do you balance all of the sports stuff that you're doing, being an athlete, an incredible athlete, but also having to do academics and make sure that you maintain those grades and maintain that level of performance both on the ice as well as in the classroom, and then hopefully at some point maybe have a social life. I don't know if you're able to also balance that in there, but how do you find that balance, and how are you finding it as your first year progresses?
Yeah, so I was a little nervous at first because I was coming off of a post-grad year, so I didn't really do, like, much school last year, so, I took 4 classes this semester just to kind of, like, ease my way back into school, and then I decided to add another major to it. My first one was sports management, and then I was like, "Okay, well, I wanna, like, specialize in marketing," so I added marketing to it, which is nice because they correlate with each other, so a lot of them is the same classes, but
Good.
yeah,
You
no, we
not
have
that you didn't already have enough on your plate. You thought, "You know what? Let's just make it a little let's round everything out and add another major in there." I like that. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. So, I don't know, we have a library available to us often. We have mandatory study hall hours. So that kind of gives us time to dial in on our work and get it done. Um, I get my A-type personality from my mom, so I'm just always doing stuff right away when it's given to me. I'm very organized. A lot of this is, having good time management, which I've ran into a couple problems this year, but I'm just learning from those mistakes and continuing through like the academic side um has been like super important to me as well. Yeah, I ended up finishing this semester with a 4.0, which was super cool to see my hard work pay off kind of thing. Because I was playing 2 sports at the beginning of the year because we'd have to do fall ball for lacrosse, so I was committed for both. And yeah, and then when I find time, I like to travel to other NCAA schools and, like, take pictures and stuff for them, so I've gone up to Boston at BU, I've gone to Quinnipiac, UConn, UMass, like, all those, to film coverage for everything college hockey, which is another, thing that I'm a part of. Uh, so yeah, I don't know, just A-type personality over here, so I just get it all done. And I still have
Well,
time with my friends. The good thing in college is that you're always with people, so, the social aspect is just, like, 24/7, so it's not like you have to, try to find time to hang out with your friends because your friends are a room away, so
yeah, I mean, I guess if it's all things that you really enjoy, it doesn't necessarily always at least feel like work. It may sometimes feel a
yeah,
little bit
no,
like work,
exactly.
but it definitely helps things fly by. So I appreciate that. But
Yeah.
congratulations on the 4.0. That's incredible.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I know I always like to say you can't teach passion, so, if you're really passionate about something, then you're going to want to do it, and, I found many things I'm passionate about: hockey, lacrosse, photography, marketing, social media, all this stuff. I do need to find time to post more about my injury and stuff on social media. I feel like I do a little bit here and there, but then also trying to focus on my business as well and get some money while I'm in college is important
Yeah.
too, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
not a bad thing at all. Not a bad thing at all. I like that. Okay, we are now going to wrap up today's conversation, which has absolutely flown by, with the final buzzer segment of the show. I always say that this is more of a test to make sure that I stay on track and don't ask any follow up questions. But this is more of a rapid fire, fun way to end today's conversation. Are you ready to take the test?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay, good, good. Otherwise, this would have been really awkward if you said no. Then we have to skip right to the end. Let's start off with what is your go-to pregame meal?
Chipotle.
Wow, I wasn't ready for that. Have follow-up questions, but I won't ask them. What's one thing that you do to get mentally ready for the game?
I like to listen to my own music, so I usually have headphones on, unless I'm, like, on aux in the locker room, I can do that, but yeah, I'm very, like specific to my own music, and I like to listen to it by myself.
Or follow-up questions, but I won't ask them. After a big game, what is your favorite way to unwind and reset?
Um, well, getting food first because 'cause I'm always hungry after. But I do snack in between games, so I always have goldfish or like a Rice Krispie treat or something like that. But no, just I don't like the super late games because then I just feel like you have to go to bed after and then wake up for the next game. So the afternoon games I like to chill out with my friends and we'll either debrief about the game or go do totally something else. But a lot of times just kind of sit around and lay low. So.
So I like that.
Mhm.
Do you have any game day rituals or superstitions outside, I guess, of the goldfish and and rice? Is it Rice Krispie treats? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Rice
Yeah.
Krispies. Yeah, it's just because I don't
Yeah.
really know what to do, so I just, eat, so
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, no, but I'm not really a superstitious person, but I do have my favorite energy drink, and they're bubblers, which I feel like not a lot of people know about, because everyone goes towards the Celsius and Alani Nu, but my favorite are bubblers. I actually just recently became a bubbler athlete, which I'm super excited about. Um, so I'm gonna have to start posting about them more too. But yeah, I just like the natural caffeine and the low caffeine and the vitamins in it. So I have to have one of those before game.
All right. Well, now I'm gonna have to see if they're available here. I don't know. I've never seen those, so I'm gonna have to make sure I check it out. What's something that people might not know about you?
Um, I'm actually pretty musically inclined. I've been playing guitar since I was 5.
My goodness, I don't know how you have time to do anything. There's always something. My goodness, are you
Yeah.
how did that start? How did you start into the music side? How did you find time, I guess, to start music, and then how's that journey been?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I started when I was 5, so it was kind of a time that I was like didn't know what sport I wanted to play, if I wanted to play sports, all that stuff. Um, my sister and I are both like we always like singing around the house and have been into like, the musical movies and Disney princesses growing up. And I'm not really sure why. I just asked my mom if I could start playing guitar and we found an instructor and I took lessons till about maybe like 7th grade. And then I got heavily into hockey and I was like, I'm not going to do this any further, but now I'll never forget how to do it. So I can just pick up a guitar and play whatever song I want and shock all of my friends. It's my favorite party trick. So,
Good. Yeah, it's something else you're naturally gifted at, so that's fantastic. Add that to the list. I like it. Okay, last question for you. Hockey has taken you through a lot of highs and some lows as well as we've discussed throughout our conversation. What do you think the game has taught you most about yourself that maybe you didn't expect?
hockey like brings out my emotional side for sure. I wouldn't say I'm a like really emotional person, but um, when I'm on the ice, like I get so passionate about being on the ice, and I've had to work on my mental toughness throughout the game as well. I'm pretty open about athlete mental health, especially going through an injury. It kind of opened my eyes to your performance on the ice isn't just physical skills, it's your mental skills as well. So I'm open about like seeing sports psychologists and stuff like that. I think that's very important for athletes, and I'll always promote that. Um, and I'm actually a very aggressive player, which I feel like not a lot of people would expect me to do. So growing up, it could have been a problem, but in the college world, it translates pretty well because it's more aggressive and they kind of let us hit a little bit more. Yeah, no, family members that come and watch me play, they're, like, shocked on how I play because 'cause I'm not, like, an aggressive person off the ice. Yeah.
The sport brings the competitiveness out in you.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that marks the end of our conversation. But I want to say thank you so much, Peyton, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to hang out, to spend some time chatting about your story, your journey. It's been an absolute blast. Like I just said a moment ago, it flew by. Just looking at the time now, my goodness, did this conversation fly by? But thank you, and I can't wait to cheer you on throughout the rest of this season, as well as the rest of your collegiate career. I know I speak for everyone who's listening, everyone who's watching, when I say that we're all rooting for you. So thank you so much for joining the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was such a fun time. Thank you.
I'm so glad. And if you enjoyed this episode as much as we both did, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow hockey fans. Your support helps me to keep bringing you stories just like this one from around the world of women's hockey. I'm Chris Sinclair. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time on Rinkside Rundown.